everybody, it's Mia from Soul Studio. Today we are going to be making paper mache jewelry. I'm going to show you guys how to make some pendants for necklaces, two different kinds of bracelets, and then I'm going to walk you through how to make earrings. We do need more materials for earrings, so I'm going to walk you through it. If you have hooks and jump rings, you'll be able to do it, but if not, that's okay. We're still going to have fun. Alright, so what you're going to need is a bowl, 1 cup of water, a half cup of flour, a spoon, a box of some sort, some thin cardboard, some scissors, tape, and some newspaper cut into shreds. Okay, so we're going to start by cutting our box, and we're going to use this to make the frame for our bracelets, our earrings, all of our jewelry. You're going to take this and you're going to cut it into the different shapes that you need. So for a bracelet, for the flat bangle bracelet, you're going to cut a strip. You can make your bracelet as wide as you want. And you're going to wrap it like a bracelet so that it fits around your wrist. You want it to be pretty big because it's not going to flex or anything. So you want it to be able to slip over your wrist. Next, I'm going to show you how to I made my pendants out of little tubes for my necklaces. So I'm going to show you how to make a tube, and then you can repeat this and we will build like some cooler pendants with multiple tubes. So to make the tube, you cut a little piece of the cardboard and you roll it up kind of around your finger like this. And then you're going to take some tape and secure that to hold the tube in place. I put a few pieces of tape on my pieces because I don't want them to come apart when I'm adding the paper mache. So I'm going to add a few pieces on here to keep it nice and strong, because this is your base. You want it to be strong. These are the bones. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing to my bracelet. Again, you want this to be bigger than your wrist because you have to be able to fit your hand inside of it to put it on. So, see, I can easily pull my hand inside and out. It'll also get a little bit thicker when you add the paper mache. Next, I'm going to show you how to make the earrings, the base of the earrings. So I'm going to make little donut earrings. You can also draw out your shapes if you want. I just cut, and I don't care if they're a little crazy, but if you want them to be a little bit more precise, you can definitely draw them out. So I'm using one circle to cut around another circle, or to cut out another circle so that they're relatively the same size. You can also do this by tracing the first circle, or whatever shape you're doing for your earrings. You can trace the first one so that you get the same shape for the second one. Now to get the center for my donut, the hole, I'm going to fold this in half and I'm going to cut a little half circle out of it. And then when I open it, it's a donut. Perfect. I'm going to do the same thing to my other earring. Just cut a half circle out of it. And I got another donut. All right, so this is how you make the other kind of bangle. So this one, it's a skinnier bangle, and you're going to twist some newspaper or some other kind of paper. Newspaper is nice and long, so I like to use that, but I'm going to just twist it all up. And then I'm going to, again, make sure it fits around my wrist. And I'm going to cut off any extra paper because I don't need that. and then I'm just going to tape that together. Just adding a bunch of tape. I'm taping up any pieces that are sticking out, and then I've got the structure for my second bangle. All right, so I made a few more tubes for the pendants. I've got 3 different sizes here. So you can leave these as just tubes and they make really interesting little beads. Or you can do something cool and you can tape different structures together to make like a more sculptural piece. So that's what I'm going to do with these 3 tubes. I'm just going to take tape and connect them. So I'm just sticking a little bit on the inside of the tube and then wrapping it around the inside of the other tube. I'm going to do that with the 3rd piece. I'm just kind of flattening out any of the tape that's sticking up with more tape. All right, so now it's time for us to mix up our paste. So again, it's going to be 1 cup of water and a 1/2 cup of flour. That's all you need, and then just mix it up. You're going to want to make sure you get all of the lumps out. You want this to be kind of runny, kind of like Elmer's glue. I'd say a little bit thinner than that. So just mix that up until it's nice and smooth. Okay, so you're going to want to lay something down because we're about to make a mess. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a strip of my newspaper and I'm going to dip it into the flour and water mixture. I want to coat the entire piece of newspaper, but I'm going to use my 2 fingers to get off any excess flour and water. You don't want it to be dripping wet. Next, I'm going to take one of the forms that I made and I'm just going to wrap it with newspaper. For the smaller pieces, I might make smaller, shorter strips of newspaper. For the bracelets and stuff, you'll be able to use longer pieces. So I'm just going to wrap newspaper around the edges, and I'm going to make sure that I'm smoothing the newspaper as I go so that I keep this donut form. You want it to be smooth around the outside and around the inside. So I'm just going to continue this. You want to do 2 layers of the paper mache. That way you're going to have a stronger piece of jewelry. For the earrings, I'm only going to do 2 layers because I want to be able to poke a hole in these later to add the hanging hardware for the earrings. But the other jewelry, you can add more layers. So next we're going to do the bangle, the thin bangle that we created by twisting up a piece of newspaper. So we're going to wrap the strips of newspaper around this one. You can just continuously wrap this and make your way around the bangle. So just follow this form and smooth your newspaper as you're going to the shape of the bracelet. Again, do 2 layers at least. You can add as many layers of paper mache to this one as you want. If you want to make a really thick bracelet, go for it. Just make sure that when you make the structure, you're planning for that and it will fit over your hand when you're trying to put it on. Just smooth it all out. If you have any pieces that are sticking up, add some more strips of newspaper. It'll help smooth it. Okay, so this is the pendant that we made. That's a little bit more sculptural, and I made this again by taping 3 tubes together. So now we're gonna make it look like all one piece by covering it with the paper mache. So I'm gonna take a strip of newspaper, I'm going to lay it over the piece, and then I'm gonna tuck into the crevices. I'm gonna tuck and kind of run my fingernail along where the little edges are so that the newspaper sits in there and it will dry to keep the shape of this pendant. So continue that process. You're gonna just wanna keep wrapping it. These ones are a little bit more intricate, so you're gonna need to wrap the paper mache in different ways. So again, I'm just going around it right now, tucking into all the crevices, and then I'm also going to start wrapping it going the other way. So like long ways, see? And I'm going to be tucking it into the holes, wrapping it around the edges so that we have this entire piece covered. And when it dries, it'll be all one piece. You won't be able to tell that it was taped together. So I'm just tucking it in, smoothing out all the edges. I'm going to continue this process for the other earring and the other bangle. Okay, so now it's time to let these dry overnight. You want to make sure that none of them are squished or anything because they will harden that way. So make sure that everything is opened up and it's set how you want it to dry. And I definitely recommend 24 hours for drying. And once they are dry, they're going to be pretty strong. We're going to go ahead and poke the holes in our earrings now. So take a little thumbtack, and this is going to be for the hanging hardware. So just somewhere close to the top of the earring, you're going to poke a little hole, and then do that to the second earring as well. Okay, so now you can add color if you want. I used acrylic paint on these. You can also use house paint, you can use nail polish, you can use marker. You can get very creative with this, add designs, whatever you. So now we're going to put the jewelry together. For the necklaces, I just use string. So for the one on the right, I braided a thick string and then I just put it through the tube that I made. And for the one on the left, I just layered up some embroidery floss and fed it through one of the tubes in the little sculpture we made, sculptural pendant. And then for the earrings, if you are doing this, you're going to need jump rings, needle nose pliers, and a clasp or a hook. So you're going to take the pliers and bend the jump ring so that it opens. There's like a little slit in the jump ring. So bend it so it opens, and then go ahead and put that through the hole that we made in the earring. Now you're going to take either your hook, your clasps, whatever earring hardware you have, and there should be like a little hole on that as well. You're going to just slip that over the jump ring and using the pliers, bend the jump ring back together. Make sure it is nice and snug so that the hook or the clasp does not fall off. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please remember that you do not have to make the same shapes that I did. You can get pretty wild with whatever shapes you want. And you don't have to make jewelry. You can use these techniques to make sculptures from home. All I know is I would love to see whatever it is you make, and I hope that you guys have fun. Hi guys! Send me your photos when you're done.